Good afternoon. It's Jennifer to the rescue, and we are here. I'm here with my lovely guest, and I'll introduce her in a minute. But Jennifer to therescue.com, as you see, I am your lyrical appreciation expert, and everybody's still kind of not sure what that is, but I help you connect and celebrate those special people and relationships in your business and personal lives. And I want to say a big thank you to Logan Street Signs and Banners for being our sponsor. And we're here at the Wofford Theater, and it's a beautiful summer day outside. And if you happen to hear it, we can hear the birds and the trucks and everything else going by. I wanted to introduce my wonderful guest, beautiful guest. We both wore purple today. And didn't even talk to each other about it, so it worked out. This is Carol Coots and Medical Bill Rescue, and we're glad to have you today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Lots to talk about. I've known you for a while, Carol. And it's actually, isn't that funny how you get connected and then, I mean, if you're out networking, which we're all, if we're independent business owners, that's what we're doing, is definitely out there trying to connect and network. We met a number of years ago and then kind of kept in touch, and then recently started to be traveling in the same circles again, and I was very excited. But Medical Bill Rescue and Carol Coots, how did you, well, take us back to, are you from Indiana originally?
I'm actually from Tennessee originally.
I guess I did know that, didn't I? You shared that with me. Okay, so how did you get to Indiana?
My husband at the time was transferred. He worked for the VA hospital, and he got transferred here.
So you came with him?
Yes.
And Tennessee, Indiana. How long have you been? Now, I know Medical Bill Rescue was not the first thing that you did when you got here, or was it?
I actually started medical consulting from A to Z. That's where I do audits for your commercial insurance carriers, for Medicare, and for Medicaid administrative carriers.
And that's like, what is that? Tell us what Medical Bill Rescue. No, I understand it, but, you know, I do actually. I know, you look at me and think, does she really understand? I actually do. But tell us, what do you do with Medical Bill Rescue?
Medical Bill Rescue is where I can review your medical bills. So if you have any questions on how something was paid, how something was denied, why did a doctor or a hospital bill a certain way, if you can't get the answers you want by asking your provider, then that's where I come into play. Because what I do under the actual medical consulting from A to Z, I actually audit the claims for like your Aetnas and your Anthems and your Humanas and Medicare and Medicaid. I'm looking to see where fraud and abuse occurs.
So you were, okay, so I think when we were talking not too long ago on my radio Next TV.tv, that was the first time I figured out that you're actually contracted by those companies, Aetna, and what were the other ones? But you worked with them as well. You work for them, making sure that they're not missing stuff.
So I've been actually contracted with them before, and I've also, like now I'm contracted with a company called Sonera out of Florida, and they help get all the huge contracts because these claims are like 1 million at a time. So this can be huge amount of claims to look at, and there's just a limited number of us that are certified and have the experience to go in and look at these claims. So we're comparing, this is what you billed, and here's the documentation. So if that documentation doesn't match, then you have overbilled for the services you have, and then that allows, whether it's Medicare, Medicaid, or the third-party insurance, to take the money back.
My insurance and knowledge is just kind of thinking about you working for them, and then you're offering your services. We'll talk about that. We'll get there first. But the medical audit, the A to Z, is what really gave you the platform to do that. And you said you're certified.
I've been certified for over 12 years.
Okay, so how did you get the certification? Because you started the medical bill A to Z thing?
I actually went to school for genetics. And
okay.
And I
Very
wanted to
smart woman.
wanted to do the counseling part. There's not many jobs, so in that area. So it's like, what else can I do? Didn't want to be a doctor. Didn't want to be a nurse. So it's like I started looking at the coding industry because I had a lot of the biology
Sure.
and the medical terminology, and I picked it up so fast. That's where I started working for different providers, and then I worked for the state of Indiana through a contract to do auditing for Indiana Medicaid. I've also helped audit Kentucky Medicaid and South Carolina Medicaid.
Oh my goodness.
That's how the whole thing started, and then from there, that's when I started the medical consulting from A to Z to be able to go out and do that on my own instead of working for somebody. And from there, that's where I really started progressing into the medical bill rescue, where I can help individuals, because I've always been asked by people, I don't understand this. What did they do? This looks wrong. I think they've overcharged me, but they can't get help. So that's where I started saying that I really needed to address this issue so people have a choice and have a chance, because education is the knowledge and the power to make the right decisions.
I do agree with you completely on that. Everybody, I mean, I've not said a lot on here, but I've been an insurance agent for many years, and now I'm kind of referring most of the referrals out, just because there are people who do, they do that every day, and I feel like that. But your whole point of the companies, I just get floored, because we always kind of put those entities, the Aetnas and all, I'm not saying anything bad about them, but you tend to look at them as the big bad giant. But on their end, they are trying to be as careful as they can be in using people like yourself.
So whether you have the car insurance or the homeowner's insurance, there's all different rules and regulations.
Exactly.
Same goes with healthcare. So they're just trying to make sure you're following those rules and regulations. Now, it gets so expensive for them to stop in the beginning and check everything. So as long as a claim looks legitimate, it goes through the system and it will pay. Well, then they bring in people like myself to go in after the fact and look at claims. They don't do every single claim, but they will look at claims, especially the higher billed claims, to say, let's just make sure that the documentation's there. So that's how
I think
I
that's
can do that.
encouraging as an insurance agent, because my primary thing was health at one time. We're going to take a break in just a minute, but what I do want to make sure, Carol, is that we give them, there we go. You got the medicalbillrescue.com. And if they go on there, your phone number is up there as well, and that's correct, right?
Yes.
Just
Yes.
make sure. But also the medicalbillrescue.com, if they go on, they can, and we'll throw this in.
Request a rescue.
I think that's awesome. She's got it on there. It says request a rescue. Well, I'm Jennifer to the rescue, so I get real excited when somebody's got the rescue thing on there. But request a rescue is actually you sit down with them and
go over, what I'm seeing. I mean, if they can't get out, then I can always do it over the phone.
okay, what we're going to do, though, is we're going to take a break, and we'll tell you how much that, because it's unbelievable how cheap it is. But we'll be... I think he's trying to be funny. We're going to take a short break. Carol's not going anywhere. You don't go anywhere either. We'll be back here in just a few minutes with Jennifer to the rescue.
Paid to save? Paid to Save is a cool new way to save big right now at merchants without paying anything up front. By now, you've probably seen daily deal sites and are wondering, how is Paid to Save different? With Paid to Save, you can reserve a deal without buying anything up front. You can redeem your deal right now, and you'll save 50%, 80%, or even 100%. Here's how it works. Simply launch our iPhone or Android app to find a great deal. Lock it in to reserve it just for you. And check in before the deal ends to redeem it and save big. That's it. Just incredible deals right now. And what makes Paid to Save even better is that merchants love it too. Since they can control the amount, the number available, and timing of the deals, they are happy to serve you when you come through their door. So grab the Paid to Save app from the Android Market or App Store and start saving big and exploring the world around you. Is Paid to Save?
You know, when Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage. Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
We're back on Jennifer to the Rescue here at the Wofford Theater. And thank you to Logan Street Signs and Banners for being a wonderful sponsor. And he's being pretty quiet over there today, so that's good. JenniferToTheRescue.com. Check it out. We have a whole new website. Well, not whole new, but we've just jazzed it up a lot. And my guest today is Carol Coots, and I'm so happy she's here. We were just so many things. I don't think I could ask you enough questions. I mean, I could ask you enough, but it might take a week or so. You know, you don't want to spend a week with me. But we were talking about medical bill rescue and how it came about, and we were also talking about you work with individuals. Not only do you get contracted by the big Anthems and or United, whatever. And Aetna, I know I used that before, and I don't want anybody at Aetna to get mad at me. But you work with, I don't think it's anything to be mad about. It's nice to know that they're trying to
keep the dollars spent down, and providers don't like that, but they're making sure you follow the rules. That's the only reason if something gets stopped, usually it's because a rule has been broken.
Okay, so you work for them, but then you also work for the individual consumer, and that's where medical bill rescue
is.
And requesting a rescue, and we were talking about how much is a rescue? Or, go ahead.
It's only $25. But what I need to do that for the $25 is I need your bill, and I need, if you do have insurance, I need your explanation of benefits
EOB,
or
right?
EOB, or sometimes it's called a remittance advice. I need both of those, and what I will do is I will look at the two, and I can tell you right off, usually this is something to check into, this is something that's wrong. So it gives people a chance to know, especially if it's a bill you owe. I mean, just recently, I helped an elderly couple that they were getting billed over $300 for a lab test. And it all came down to, because the reason it was denied was it said not medically necessary. Well, what that means is the diagnosis code the provider billed did not support the test. So all it was is I contacted them. Here's a list of medical necessity codes. Did this patient actually have one of these? And is this a reason you did the test? And they said, yes. I said, well, then you need to send this in to get this corrected. And as soon as they did, it paid. So then the patient didn't owe anything.
Which was $300 that they just saved, and they only paid you, well, $25, but that's the initial fee. I mean, if you sit down with somebody, $25 to me seems really cheap.
I do it. It is. It's because I do a lot of this out of the goodness of my heart is really where a lot of this comes from. And majority of times the people who need the most help are the people who don't have the money to pay it. So that's part of the reason I do that. I mean, if they want me to literally take over everything, then I negotiate a different rate. But if they're looking at just, here's a bill, look at this, or even once a month, if you have 3 or 4 bills, as long as I have them all there at once, can look over them quickly, I still just charge the $25. And again, I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart because I mean, there are other companies out there that do this and they charge a lot for it, which, I mean, if you're owing multi-millions of dollars, I can see paying that. But if you just have simple questions and don't know where to go, why do you want to pay a lot of money for that?
So you would renegotiate if you were working on a monthly basis with somebody, maybe?
If I have to take it over, so if they want
Right.
to give me like a temporary power of attorney to take over because there's something really wrong.
Yeah, right.
So because of all the HIPAA rules, the
There's
privacy
a lot
rules,
involved if they do that.
there is a lot involved. So that's why I would negotiate an hourly rate instead of the one-time $25. But for most cases, it's usually, even if it's done monthly, the one time they give me their bills and their EOBs, and I can tell them what to pay and what not to.
Well, and I was in group health many years ago, and even looking at it with an insurance background, health insurance, I would look at some of those EOB. You need somebody like Carol to do this. I mean, you definitely.
They do make them complicated.
And sometimes it's just a matter of, sitting down with somebody who knows what they're looking for, obviously, and that's what you do.
Right.
Now, if you'd see that it was beyond, or they really didn't need your help, you would be honest and say that. I know you would, because I've talked to you before, and I know that's what you do.
Well, the biggest thing is people tell me it gives them peace of mind. So
Oh,
even if everything's on the up and up, to give them that peace of mind, because what I see, and statistically, as much as 80 to 95% of all claims that are audited usually have errors on them.
Wow, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
That is a lot, actually. I never thought about it that.
And some of it affects how much they're paid, and some of it affects, okay, this is being dumped on the patient's lap, and they shouldn't be. So that's where.
That $25 for peace of mind is wonderful. And I know we're going to get to, she's got, actually maybe you can't see it, but medicalbillrescue.com. We have a book that we want to make sure they stick around and hear about. But what other things you request a rescue? What else on that? Well, go ahead.
Well,
what did you?
Just to be aware of, besides working with individuals, I am willing to go to employers to talk to the employees.
Oh, great.
Because, employers need to know this, because the higher their premiums are, usually they need to look at how much was paid out and did the patients really owe this, because that affects their rates. I also go to civic groups, social organizations, churches.
Awesome.
Any group that wants to learn some about what to watch for, what kind of questions to ask.
Now, if they go to your website, the medicalbillrescue.com, and they are requesting a rescue, or would that be the best place to put, is there a contact? I'm looking, contact us.
Well, on the request a rescue, so there's a little form that will come up. So you can put your name and your phone number and basically what you're looking for.
Okay, so if they were looking to hire or to have you speak at their civic group, I'm saying that'd be the best way to. But there's all kinds of things on your website. I know that there are. So they do want to check that out, and then it has a contact us spacing. We are going to talk about the book, but we want to make sure Medical Bill Rescue. We want to come back and tell them how this book came about. And you do have another business that you do, so we want to make sure we get into that. Okay. And what is the name of that business?
The Practical Cost Reduction.
So that's kind of where the Stop Wasting Money came in, right? Cool.
Yes.
We want to have them come back. We have to take a short break, but I've got 20 seconds.
What my specialty really is helping people save money. So
we like that idea.
So whether you're talking about the medical industry that I have over 25 years experience in, or the other industry that I'll talk about when we come back after the break, I can show you ways to save money in ways that a lot of people just don't think about on a daily basis to free up some income.
Okay, well, we'll hold her on that thought. We'll be right back at Jennifer to the Rescue. Thank you first.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage. Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Everyone knows it's easy to find first-run movies in the big theaters. But where can you go to watch your favorite classic movies on the big screen for the perfect night out? Why rent a flick when you can rent the entire theater? Call today to reserve our 32-seat theater for your next event, or just stop by to see what's showing this weekend. The 14 by 7 foot screen and the high quality digital surround sound system offers all the amenities you would expect from the big theaters, with a laid back atmosphere and comfortable seating of your own home. Wofford Theater at 1744 South 10th Street in Noblesville gives you the classic movies you want with a big theater experience.
Well, we're back. This afternoon is just kind of flying by. And Jennifer to the rescue. I'm Jennifer Johnson. I'm your lyrical appreciation expert. Yes, I am. Okay. We have just got too many questions. Oh, thank you, Logan Street Signs and Banners and Wofford Theater, for having us this afternoon. And Carol Coots. Where do we start? Medical bill rescue, but then we were talking about your practical cost reduction business that you need to share. Tell us.
We have two different divisions. We have a consumer division and we have an employer division.
Mm-hmm.
What the difference is we use a practice called Six Sigma, which basically if you don't know what that is, it's how to be efficient in everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
So you see this in a lot of the huge corporations. Well, we help the smaller business owner with this. And the consumer division is still applying the same ideas, but it's applying it to consumer spending. So it's everything you use in your home, your food you eat, the clothes you buy, everything. It's looking at ways to be the most efficient with your spending, to learn how to save you money.
Oops. Saving money is always good. And this kind of came out of
This actually came out of when my husband...
stop wasting money, and it is available on Amazon. Okay.
My husband had lost his job several years ago through downsizing, and he was actually laid off for almost 2 years.
Oh, my goodness.
We didn't lose our home, we didn't lose our cars, and we had health insurance
During that whole
during
time.
that time. Because of this. This is what we learned. We tackled the idea of if we can save businesses millions of dollars, why can't we figure out ways to save us enough money to
Right.
pay our bills and to make sure we don't lose our home and our cars? And that's how the book came about. It's how to be the most efficient way with everything you do to save the most money.
In my head, I'm thinking I would have been going, and instead you guys are writing a book and applying the principles you knew to do this. So give us some examples.
A typical tip in here is like for your water heater. Most people don't think about that. That's actually one of the most expensive appliances in your home.
Really?
If you have a standard tank water heater, it costs typically up to $500 a year to run for water to be heated just in case you need it. Because you know, most of the time you're not using that hot water.
So is your tip taking cold showers?
No.
Okay. I just thought that was funny.
If you actually go buy what's called a water heater blanket, which you can get for about $20 at hardware store or Amazon.com, put that on, you can save up to $50 a year.
Good. Okay.
If you turn down the temperature a degree or two, which is you still have to keep it plenty high enough to make sure it kills all the bacteria, because you know it's in a tank.
Sure.
But you can also continue to save additional money.
So that is in there. So that is addition. Okay. And what do you suggest? I thought this was fun. You always hear people talk about save money and then put it in this, pay that credit card off. Well, that's a good idea. But you don't necessarily say.
If you always want to pay the bills down,
that's a good idea. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that.
What we like to say with the Stop Wasting Money book is this is ways to free up money and then put that money back in a little fund, and once a year you can usually go take a vacation or go do something fun, or say you wanted to have a party for your parents' 50th anniversary, something like that. You would have the money from the savings alone if you do all the stuff that we suggest in the book.
So it's stuff that you might be doing, but this is just a better way to get the money than putting it on a credit card or doing something like that. Just following these simple
They're
tips.
very simple tips. I mean, another one is watch your receipts at the grocery stores. Because a lot of times you're going to get overcharged. How that typically happens
I was going to say, how does that happen?
Yeah, you'd think the store would be
Yeah.
up on all that. Well, so a lot of times when the manufacturers send new merchandise, so something is new and improved, it could have a new UPC number. So when that new product comes in, it may have a new price. So in their computer system, when they scan that, it's going to have that new price, even though on the shelf, it still may have the old price.
Oh.
If they don't stop and think, ooh, I need to go look on the shelf and make sure this did not change, a lot of times that just slips through the cracks. But you can hold them accountable for that. If the shelf says certain price, you can make them give you that price. I've seen some stores, not too many do this anymore, will give you an item free if you see them make a mistake.
Okay, I'm not going to ask which companies do that, but
Some Kroger stores actually still
really?
do, not all of them. So
that's a neat thing. And I know you've given us two really good examples, but do you have another one? I mean, we're trying to get people to get on Amazon and buy your book.
I mean,
How much does it retail on
Amazon? They're $23.95.
Okay, so they have an idea.
Another good example is I say, what is your time worth? If you're not sure if something is worth you doing or hiring somebody out, take the rate that you're being paid per hour. Or if you're already retired, take what you made per hour, what you think your time is
really?
worth. Apply it to how long it's going to take you to do something. So I use the example of baking a loaf of bread from scratch. Is it really worth taking the time to go to the grocery store, buy the stuff, put it together, keep kneading it, then be around for it to bake? Versus if you still want that fresh bread, I mean, there's stores like Panera out there, or even a lot of your grocery stores will make homemade bread.
That's a good point.
So just look at your schedule. Look at what your time is worth.
So they need to check out your book, Stop Wasting Money, and we don't have it up there, but Stop Wasting Money. What's the website?
Practicalcostreduction.com. They also can find, I have several videos out on YouTube. If they just put in Carol Coots as a search, you'll see my money tips out there.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know they were out there. That's good. I'm going to be out there looking for it. We are going to run out of time. It goes so fast. Will you come back in a couple months and give us some,
Sure.
and tell us how the book is doing? We are always happy to have wonderful information. And if you go to jennifertotherescue.com and you request me contact you and you say, who is that wonderful woman that was telling us all about saving money? I will definitely get you in touch with her as well. But jennifertotherescue.com is my website. I always try to leave with some kind of an upbeat And it's always funny when I have a guest on. It seems like an upbeat is what I call them because I'm a musical person, and I want to leave you with an upbeat note for this week. I know there's got to be the farmers market and a bunch of good things going on in Noblesville this weekend. Anything good?
Yeah, you got Thursday night market,
Thursday night market.
and then you got Jazz in the Square.
Jazz on the Square. Okay, all kinds of things. Farmers market.
Outdoor movies at
Okay, we're out. Yeah,
What else would it be?
I don't know, but there's all kinds of stuff going on in Noblesville. We'll leave you with this. Our greatest limitations are the ones we place on ourselves. That is obviously Carol and Norm, your husband. We'll give him a plug. They didn't sit there and let anything run them down. They got up and they took action, and now they're best-selling authors. We're going to say that. And we're very happy to have you here today. And we'll see you next week or next time on Jennifer to the Rescue. Thank you.